Morning, Quadcopter 101 here, and I got something neat for you today, as you can see right here. This is the MJX Bugs 8. Now, the Bugs 8 is meant to be an intro for intermediate flyers into FPV racers. It is a 210 size racer. It is not made of carbon. It is all plastic, and the idea being to keep the total cost of the system down. Now, it comes with 1806 1600 kV motors, 4 amp or 8 amp ESCs. But the big thing about this quadcopter is the camera that's in here. This is the C5830 camera, I believe is the name of it. It is a 500 milliampere hour FPV camera system. In addition to that, it includes a 720p DVR. You can record in 720p. There's a little slot inside. You have to pop the top to get at it and insert an SD card and record in 720p video. So you can actually record your FPV video without the need for goggles with a built-in DVR. It has a built-in DVR in the quadcopter itself. The FPV transmitter of the 5830 is capable of transmitting on 8 separate frequencies on the C band, C1 through 8. So keep that in mind, folks. This is the transmitter for the Bugs 6, 8, and 9. It is, let's go over the buttons on it. This button here arms and disarms the quadcopter. You press it once and the motors will start right up. So be careful when you arm that quadcopter, because the motors will go into idle and then you can take off. This also is the bind switch. If you lose bind with the quadcopter, turn the quadcopter on, then press and hold this button and turn the transmitter on, and it will automatically bind to the quadcopter. You only need to do that once if you know, it doesn't bind. You know, when you try to turn on the transmitter, if it doesn't bind, you can manually bind it by holding this button down and turning on the transmitter. This button here is for rates, for low and high rate. You know, to change the maximum pitch that the quadcopter can fly in. By the way, you know, this is kind of unusual in that this is FPV racer quadcopter, but you can only fly this in stabilized mode. There is no horizon mode or ratitude mode. There is no acro mode. It is only stabilized. Okay, so keep that in mind, folks. It's meant as a intro to FPV racing, 210 size FPV racing. But with that in mind, it does not have acro ability. So, but you can do flips, and they are automatic flips by pressing this button and then moving the stick here and tell it which direction to flip. And since the C5830 camera has recording capability, you can actually record a picture by a quick press or a video by starting the video recording by holding this button down for 2 seconds till you hear a beep, and on your screen you'll also get an indication that the recording has started, because a little timer will show up on the screen. And you can stop the recording by pressing this button down and holding it down again. And again, this is your pitch, roll, or this is your throttle, yaw, pitch, and roll. Let's talk about the monitor screen that comes with this version. The monitor screen actually has 32 channel capability reception. Okay, but again, keep in mind that the quadcopter's camera only transmits on 8 channels, and again, those are in band C, and you can cycle through to select the band that it's on there that you wish to operate on band C. So, and there's the on-off switch and the charging port. Note that there is no reception antenna on this, so that's my concern. You know, even though that has a 500 milliwatt transmitter, the receivers might be the weak link here, in that there is no receiver antenna that protrudes out here. It's a built-in antenna, and I don't know how well that's going to work. We'll find out here shortly. Now, this monitor, and I'm going to demonstrate this shortly, or later in the flight here. I'm going to do first a line of sight flight and then goggles flight. But this monitor can be popped off and thrown into this goggles container. Let's pop the top here to show you that. You just pop open the top and slide it in, and I looked at it already. It does look good. I wasn't expecting much, but the view through these goggles with the monitor inside was actually reasonably good. So we'll see here. So that's the transmitter. So let's go right into a flight of this thing, and again, I'm going to fly it in line of sight mode first, and then we'll switch to goggles, or I'm going to show you this recording on here in line of sight, and then I'll pop this off, put it in here, and we'll go to pure FPV flying. So hope you enjoy this flight. Okay, we are recording on my VR D2 goggles, turning on the transmitter, and we are bound to the quadcopter, and also recording there. Selecting record by holding this button down here, and we should be recording, and also turning on my goggles here. And I can see we got 4 seconds of recording already, and this is the reception that you receive on the goggles. Okay, I need to put on my glasses too, since we are going to be flying line of sight here. Glasses coming on, and let's take to the air and see how it performs. Okay, arming it by that button there. Take it to the air. Let's go over to the field here. Well, it flies well. In angle mode, it feels good. Let's bring it in close so you can see it. Yep, new flyer, well, new flyers entering into FPV should be able to fly this easily. It is rather easy to fly. Let's try going down to the end of the field here and see if we can maintain FPV reception. And it's starting to get scratchy over there. Coming back down here, back toward me. Where's that flip button? You got to hold the button down to get it to flip. Let's bring it in closer to show you that. Didn't do that too well. Forward flip. Let's try a side flip. Yeah, side flips are okay. Okay, let's go to higher rate. Oh, big difference. Big difference. Better bring it in closer so you can see that. And much more pitch, much more agility. Bringing it down lower. And closer. Okay, so we'll fly it around a bit here. Dragonfly seems to like it. Likes the sound it's making. And let's go again down to the other end of the field there and see its FPV reception. Pretty far out, yeah. I am pretty far out there, about 100 meters. Okay. So that's line of sight there with this thing. Going back to low rate to bring it in close. Now, you know, keep in mind this is a brushless motor quadcopter. Lots of power. So I'm keeping it at a distance here. I don't want to get it too close to me. You know, even though, you know, I can fly it. You don't want to fly this too close to people, including yourself, because it will chop you up. Okay, let's try those goggles with this thing. So, you got to hold the button down to get it to flip. Actually, I got 2 batteries for this, so let's go out again. Yeah, good reception. I'm out 100 meters, and it gets out there fast, folks. Keep that in mind, folks. It flies out to 100 meters very quickly. It's kind of quiet, too. Surprisingly quiet for a brush motor quadcopter. Okay, for this first flight, let's land it right here. And disarm. Oh, disarm, you gotta hold it down. Okay, and also stopping the recording. You gotta hold that button down too. And the recording should stop, and we have stopped the recording. Okay, let's go put this monitor inside the goggles and see how the goggles work out. It's beeping. But notice how this just slides right into the goggles, and we should be ready to go. Let me put this hat on my wife's head. Putting on the goggles and hitting record again. Record video, and we are recording, and we should be good to go. So arming the motors, and we're in low rate. Need to make sure low rate, taking off in low rate. And right now I'm going to fly it down to the end of the field. The resolution from these goggles is lower than what I normally would expect. Turning it around here, but they are flyable. Okay, I am in low rate right now. Just going around in low rate. Let's go down and see if I can go down and around that pole on the other end of the field here. And it easily does it. So yeah, it is 500 milliampere hour. I would not have been able to get down there with a 25 milliwatt transmitter. So it's got good transmission power and enough piddling around. Let's go a little bit higher rate now. Intermediate rate. Let's come down by us here. Oh, I can't go over there because there's water there. I'm going to go up and over the trees. Forgot about their watering there. I would like to take it through the trees right now, but they are watering these trees. Let's see if I can do a flip with this thing. Easy to do the flips with this because we are in stabilized mode. So again, let's try another flip. So yeah, for somebody learning FPV, this would be, I have to agree, this would be a good first start. Very easy to fly it. First off, you know, it's not for beginners. I don't mean easy for beginners to fly it, but for intermediate, I am at high rate, right? Let me double check that. In high rate, even in high rate, it is kind of easy to fly. Okay, I heard a beep there. Now keep in mind, this has a, what do you call it, telemetry, to warn you low battery power, and it is starting to get scratchy on my FPV signal, so at times there. So we might be getting low on battery state soon. Let's see if I can get some speed on it this time. Try to get it going faster. Well, I'll tell you what, folks, I got another battery here. Let me pop another battery in this thing.
Oops.
Did I make it?
No. Close.
Okay, I moved over here because I wasn't sure if we're going to get doused by... These things are on timers, and I have no idea what's next. So we're going to fly on this end of the field where there's no grass. So let me go back to high rate. And starting the motors. And take it to the... Oh, wait. Hit recording. Which one's the record button again? That one. Recording. Okay, it is recording. Let's take to the air. Let's see how fast this thing can go. Yeah, pushing it. I'm pushing it pretty good, but that's about as fast as it goes, folks. Okay, I got a little bit of lost reception there. You hear that beep? It warns you when you're getting out of close to reception range. So I was not near 300 meters, I'll tell you that. But I was going behind those there's C vans there, and maybe that was causing the problem with reception. Going down this end of the field. If you go out far, you are going to need to go up high. I'm going to try to fly it by us.
There's people.
Where?
No, 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 it's okay. Don't go too far,
Okay.
kids.
So I'm just going to
Around here, it's okay. It's
keep it
fine.
over here.
Oh.
Well, there's people around, folks, so I'm going to have to land it. We're going to call it quits early. But that's the first flight of the Bugs 8 system. Again, I'm flying the strictly FPV right now.
You're fine around here.
I'm flying over here? Okay.
Uh-huh.
Just make sure those people don't come over here to see what's going on. Huh?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, again, keep clear of people, folks. If you got looky-loos, you don't want to fly near them, especially with this thing. How about over this way, my love, over in the this side of the field?
No, it's empty.
It's empty over here. Have they stopped watering?
You can go ahead. No, it's still watering.
Okay. Yeah, I can see the water down there. Again, you know, this has, you can only fly this an angle, and because of that, you're kind of limited how fast you can go. I was hoping this could go a lot faster, but, you know, you got angle restrictions, you get it going, that's about it, folks, right there. What I'm giving it. It's not going to be a super fast quadcopter, but again, you know, since this is for intermediate flyers wishing to enter into FPV, yeah, I guess it's more than appropriate for.
You can go behind you now. They're gone.
They're gone?
The kids.
Okay. Boy, I wish that watering would stop, because I'd like to go between the trees. See us there, folks?
It's clear.
Okay. Well, I'm going to bring it in early, folks. The reason being, you've seen enough, and I don't want to bore you. But let's see how close I can get to the landing pad. Was I on it?
No, but you're close.
Okay, let me turn off the camera. Camera off. Yeah, there we go. And taking the hat back from my wife. Thank you, hon. Thank you very much. And also remembering to stop this recording here. Where's that record button? Right there. Okay. So again, this is the Bugs 8. Again, meant for an intro for FPV flyers who wish to enter into FPV racing. It is strictly can be flown in angle mode, or what you call stabilized mode. There is no acro, no horizon, no arm, air mode. Sorry, air mode. But again, it's meant for new flyers, an intro to FPV. So I hope you enjoyed this flight. This is Quadcopter 101, signing out. Okay, I want to show you the inside of this quadcopter real quick. It's removed. You can remove the top by removing these 4 screws here, and then it pops right off to gain easy access to the interior. Again, the heart of this quadcopter, the Bug series, is the C5830 camera. I highly recommend you get a version with this camera instead of going with the all-in-one. Even though this transmits only on 8 frequencies that are switched via this these 3 pin switches here. It is a 500 milliwatt camera after all, and it has record capability. Right here, there's my SD card, and let me pop out the SD card to show you. But you can insert an SD card into this camera and have it record in 720p. So, you know, I think it's worth it to get this particular quadcopter with this FPV transmitter, all-in-one camera, and I do mean all-in-one because it actually has a DVR. And again, it has 500 milliwatt transmitter, so that's a powerful FPV camera, so I think it's worth it. I'm going to include a little overlay here showing the different frequencies on the C-band and how to set them with this pin switch, these 3 pin switches here. But again, this is just a quick view of the interior. I'm not going to remove this to show you the rest of the quadcopter, because, you know, the rest of the circuit board and that, because this protection mat is stuck here pretty good, and I don't want to mess around with putting it back on again. I want to leave it just as is. So that's the interior. Okay, this is the actual view through the goggles, looking in the face of the goggles. I got the my camera here is a Canon camera placed right up against the face of the goggles to give you a view of what I'm seeing. But as you can see here, it is relatively good view that you get from these goggles. In the upper left corner, you can see that it tells you the channel or the band you're on, along with the frequency, which is band C1 at 5705 megahertz. It also gives you your received signal strength indication there in the upper middle section there. That's not as much, good as knowing what band you're on. When you're flying, you're not going to be able to monitor that anyways. You're going to be focusing on the screen. But it will help you determine, compare other bands, C1, if you set this to C1 through C8, you can see which one gives you the best reception, in other words. And in the upper right corner, it tells you the remaining power of the monitor screen. That's not of the quadcopter, that's the power of the monitor screen. The quadcopter's power is transmitted directly to the controller receiver or controller transmitter, and it'll tell you low battery with a beep. But that is how much power is left in the monitor. Now, quick discussion of this monitor. This monitor can be used with other quadcopters, but I'd be kind of careful about that because the monitor does not have an, you don't see an antenna on the top of this to aid in reception. It's not a problem with the Bugs 8, and the Bugs 8 has a very powerful transmitter with a 500 milliwatt transmitter. But if you use it with like the little 25, this same monitor with little 25 milliwatt transmitters, you might not get sufficient range to. I haven't tried it yet, but I doubt that it'd work as well as monitors with antennas on the top, in other words. Okay, and again, the Bugs 8 has a powerful transmitter, so that's why it's not an issue that there's no antenna on top of that. It has an internal antenna. So I just want to show you the performance of the monitor, and this is Quadcopter 101 signing out.